We start this half hour with the top story for all Western New Yorkers. Air quality alerts remaining in effect today as smoke from the Canadian wildfires continues to fill our skies.
In fact, more than 100 million people are under these same alerts all across the eastern U.S. Right now, this is a live look outside over Buffalo as we start the day. Visibility actually okay right now, but the clouds are moving in and the smoke will also move in a little bit more and stay here throughout the day.
And this smoke is creating hazardous conditions for some of the most populated areas of the country, including New York City. You're looking at Niagara Falls right now, but everyone in Niagara Falls and New York is encouraged to stay inside as much as possible, with Governor Kathy Hochul warning that dry conditions could prolong the issues.
We need to be prepared for more fires from Canada and also our own state. We are at a fire risk in our own state because it is incredibly dry, especially in western New York and central New York. So we want to make sure that we are aware of that as well.
And this morning, we do have team coverage from every angle, including health risks from the smoke and when we can expect some relief. But let's get started with this guy, Mr. Hammer.
It was irritating yesterday in the eyes, and breathing it in.
And the soot getting everywhere, too. Cars are
Yes.
awful.
All right, here's the deal. We've got one more day of this poor air quality. As Melissa mentioned, visibility is good, but that's going to be changing as another area of smoke is poised to move into western New York mid to late morning and into the afternoon. It's cloudy, though, now, so the gray you see outside is not necessarily smoke. It is a layer of clouds. Right now, our air quality index is lower than it was yesterday. We're at an unhealthy for some, which means you want to take caution. However, I do believe we're going to hit that unhealthy level as we go through the day today. Much like what we saw yesterday, I think our air quality will be similar to the poor air quality we had yesterday. Clouds and smoke, temperatures in the 60s. We have an air quality alert until midnight because of elevated pollution levels. Once again, there is an area of smoke north of Lake Ontario. It's going to be pivoting in to western New York during the day today. So smoky conditions will be developing today. Lots of clouds. It will be mainly dry. A couple of sprinkles or showers for the southern tier. But some good news. The smoke kicks out of here in about a day and a half, and some needed rain is coming after the weekend. There we go. All right, we'll have a look at that forecast coming up.
All right. Thank you very much, Patrick. Well, yesterday, state environmental and health officials spoke more about how they're keeping track of the current conditions.
They're also encouraging New Yorkers to track the conditions for themselves. And Daybreak's Heather Lee joins us live right now with more on what they had to say. Good morning, Heather.
Hey there, Melissa and Pete. Good morning. The New York State DEC has a dozen air quality monitoring sites all across the state of New York. That includes one right off the thruway in Cheektowaga. There's also another one in Tonawanda. And this morning, those sites continue to gather readings. They're looking for measuring levels of different types of pollution, including fine particulate matter, commonly associated with wildfire smoke. Now, if you want to see how the air quality is where you are, you can check the weather app on your iPhone. You can also go to this website. It's called airnow.gov. There you enter in your zip code. I just went there a few minutes ago to get an update on where I am here in Buffalo, 14202. It is right now a reading of 121, down just a few notches from last hour, but still considered unhealthy for sensitive groups. Now compare that to parts of New York City this morning that have readings in the 200s. That's considered very unhealthy. Now, aside from limiting your time outside and no strenuous activity, there's really not a lot you can do this morning to stop the smoke, but there are things you can do to keep from adding to the problem, like limiting your open burning.
Not only are you potentially exacerbating local air quality issues, but this is a very dry state. We've been tracking a very dry state now for many weeks, and we're looking at a prolonged period of dryness, which of course gives rise to fire conditions here in New York. And we don't need our first responders running around putting out fires in New York while we're now dealing with the smoke that's blowing in from Canada.
Now, the DEC issues air quality alerts when their meteorologists predict levels of pollution that are expected to exceed an air quality index rating of 100. Again, right now here in downtown Buffalo, we're sitting at 121. Now, just how long one of these alerts lasts, kind of hard to tell. It's a little bit tougher. We know that there will be one in place at least through today. But again, Pete and Melissa, that's where the monitoring comes in. They're constantly gathering these readings. 100 or above means one of those alerts is in place. We will continue to monitor it throughout the morning, and we'll have updates, of course, throughout the day here on Daybreak and WGRZ.com. Back inside to you.
Yeah, 100 or above for the alerts. We're at 130 right now. And some context, yesterday we did hit 230.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see where we hit today at its worst.
All right. Well, despite the smoke filling the skies, people are still headed
For
outdoors.
some, they have no choice but to go outside, but others, they say the smoke just won't stop their plans. And Daybreak's Lauren Hall joins us live this morning with more on how the smoke is impacting people and what doctors say you should do to stay safe.
Hey, good morning, Melissa. Good morning, Pete. Well, this morning, doctors tell us if you have lung or heart disease, you really want to avoid breathing the air outside if possible, as long as that air quality index stays above 100, which it's at right now. If you're in one of those high-risk categories or are elderly or pregnant, you should consider wearing an N95 if you do go outside and minimize any time spent out there. If you're otherwise healthy, you should still avoid strenuous activity outside, like running or going for a bike ride. All of this advice comes from Dr. Sanjay Sethi, a professor of medicine at UB. He says the goal is to avoid breathing in too much of the polluted air and the particles in it.
You may become more prone to like respiratory infections because as it is, you're prone. And so this can add to the insult, because when you breathe this air in, it inflames your lung. So if it's a tiny bit of inflammation, the body can deal with it. If you already have problems, that tiny bit of inflammation can progress and become a bigger problem.
And some more tips for you this morning. If you have an air purifier with a HEPA or high efficiency filter, now is the time to use it. You should also keep your windows closed to avoid letting that outside air into your house or your car. Dr. Sethi, though, says air conditioning is fine to use. People with asthma should keep their inhalers close by. And if you start experiencing symptoms like shortness of breath, coughing, chest tightness, or wheezing, you should contact your doctor. Pete and Melissa, back over to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Lauren. And as many Western New Yorkers stay inside during these dangerous conditions, firefighters from across the state and around the globe are flocking to Canada to the source of the problem. As uncontrollable wildfires continue to burn across eastern Canada, more than 950 firefighters from around the world have been dispatched to provide aid in extinguishing the flames. But the dilemma for those on the ground, according to wildlife expert Andrew Vanderyacht, is that rushing to get things back to normal could possibly only be fueling the fire more down the road.
The harder that we fight fire, the more risk we are at extreme wildfire behaviors.
It is called the fire suppression paradox. The idea is that while putting out these flames now offers an immediate solution, it also leaves behind untouched shrubs and debris that could one day ignite larger fires, creating a situation even worse than the one we're experiencing right now.
And with the smoke affecting the entire state and other surrounding states as well, we want to hear from you this morning. How is the smoke affecting you and your day? It's our poll question this morning. And so far, about 2/3 of you are saying that you are staying indoors because of the smoke. 20% of you saying you're not impacted at all. And then a split between some of you are wearing a mask or adjusting your plans. And you can vote on WGRZ.com or scan the QR code, and we'll show you the results later in the show.